Aloha and welcome. I am Samantha Fox Olson of Fit Goddess Body, and I am absolutely delighted and honored to share some testimonial, some celebrations of a current client of mine in my 12-week Fit Goddess Body Challenge. This is a program where we utilize all kinds of different practices that you'll hear a little bit about today to help us really not only burn stubborn fat and sculpt a sexy, hot physique, but also to just really return home to the embodiment of our own being in a sacred, healing, really just beautiful way. And so Aimee here, she's actually from the same part of the world that I am right now, which is cool because a lot of my clients are all over the place, anywhere from Greece to Hawaii, from California to New York, and then right here in East Tennessee. This is where Aimee and I both come from, or at least where we are now, I should say. So Aimee, I just want to acknowledge you, honey. You've been showing up in this program with such enthusiasm from literally day one, with such an open heart, with such an excitement for what you could potentially learn in this space, before we even started. And so I remember that. I remember some of your comments on social media before we even started the program. And I just was like, wow, her enthusiasm is exciting. Like this is going to be fun to work with her. And so I'm stoked you're here. It really has been an honor. And just to kind of open up this space, if you want to share just a little bit about yourself, who you are, maybe, who you are and why you joined the program.
Okay, well, thanks for having me. I'm thrilled to be part of your program. I am, a big part of my life is I'm a nurse and I do research studies. And so I constantly feel like I'm learning from patients how to live life when you're handed something hard, how do you savor what you have? And I really have had a lot of lessons on what am I taking for granted in my own life, my own health. And so recently I'm 45. So since I've been 40, I am just going to admit this because I think people might relate to this, is that I was diagnosed with diabetes and hypertension and Hashimoto's. And so it was embarrassing at first because as a nurse, I know the right things to do. And I see what happens to patients, things like that. And have really, prior to starting this program, had been struggling with finding the right regimen that helped me control my diabetes, help me lose weight because the medicines that I'm on make me gain weight, which is what insulin does for those, not all insulins, but the one I'm on does. And I had the awesome opportunity to meet Samantha at a class. And I remember during the class, every single movement we did, she was giving us these cues, this is exactly how this should feel. Put your brain in the muscle and do you feel it there? If you don't, we're not doing this right. And I just loved your passion. And I was like, oh my gosh, if I could ever work with someone like her, I would jump on it, every day, how amazing would it be to work with Samantha? And so I learned through, I think, your social media page that you had this virtual plan that you were providing. And I just sat down with my husband and I was like, look, I've tried a lot of things and I feel like I need to do this because I was constantly increasing my medications that I needed to control my diabetes. And I wasn't getting the results that I needed. And I just felt like this is what I have to do. So when I signed up, I was on fire, literally with the fire behind you. I'm like, I get to work with Samantha and I'm going to absorb everything that she has for me. So that's where I started. I was in a spot of I want to make my health better. And then just the excitement of getting to work with you. So that's where I started.
So awesome. I remember the first time meeting you in the gym. I think it was even when I was with my daughter. So even before the class that you took when I was the teacher, I was a student in a class. We were students together in a class. And just even your sweetness and your openness, there that first time we met, I totally remember that. So stoked that the community center brought us together. Will you share a little bit about what were your, okay, so you actually mentioned that there were things in the past with your diabetes and your health, and even with like weight, like the weight gain from the meds. So things you were trying with weight loss, that there was a lot of things you had tried in the past and failed. Would you mind sharing just briefly on what those things were?
Sure. I think some of the things that stand out the most for me is that I would maybe cut my calories, but I didn't have really good balance in the types of foods or the macros per se that you're teaching us about all the time, so that we're accountable for what we're putting in our body. We know what we're putting in our body. So I would have an imbalance and I'd be super hungry and not satisfied. And then I'd be like, oh, I need to go to the pantry and find something else that wasn't as healthy choice because I was just hungry, I did high intensity workouts. I'd go to the gym beforehand and after, and maybe not giving my body rest sometimes. And I've been in Weight Watchers before, where you count your points and things like that. So it's not that I haven't tried things. I just, I wasn't successful in those things.
Mm-hmm. So because you're having phenomenal success. I mean, just here, you're having phenomenal success to the degree and the rate that when I hear from you, like a check-in every week, like I get full body goosebumps. Aimee, there have been times where tears are just coming down my cheeks because I am overjoyed with your results, and I'm just so happy for you. So
me too.
Exciting. So we've just completed 5 weeks, correct? Out of the 12-week program. So we're 5 weeks in. Will you share so far your accomplishments within those?
Yeah.
In just
well,
the beginning.
I think the crazy part, I want to make sure I say this, is that, you make sure that all of us have our goals when we start the program. So we have this vision of what we're working towards. And I was blown away when you're like, Aimee, you've reached all of your goals. And it was like week 4.
Yes, I was.
I'm like, wait, what?
I was like, after week 4, let's reevaluate. Let's see where we are. Are we on the right trajectory to where we want to be? And I'm reading your goals going, Aimee, I think we need to write some new goals because you've already slayed them all.
Yeah. And the goals were not small. I mean, I felt like I had set really good goals, like for maybe 12 weeks. I don't know if this is even feasible, but it would be great to sort of get close to that. And so it was lose 1 to 2 pounds a week was the first goal. And we killed it. Like I've lost at this point, I think it's 19.4 pounds. So that's really awesome. The second goal was to have a gym program that I felt like I could progress in and feel confident in doing by myself at the gym, which you've provided so many different programs for us if we're at home versus if we need to do a video versus we're in the gym. And what do you do when you're at the gym? So I totally feel confident in my program at the gym. And the third goal was to have better control of my blood glucose because that impacts my overall health. And so I was hitting like, so a diabetic has a target range, like a low number and a high number that you want to stay in. And so I was only like 69% within my goal most of the day. So that meant I had a lot of high numbers for me. And I would start my day beyond my target and I hadn't even eaten anything. So within, I think, week 3 of your program, my doctors were reaching out to me going, I don't know what you're doing, but please keep doing it. And I had talked with them about, is this okay to do this? But they're like, seriously, whatever you're doing, keep doing it. And they lowered my insulin by 6 units. And then, which is a big deal. And then they were like, wait, the next week, they're like, reduce it again. So like, when I looked at my target, I was 100% within goal, in fact, getting too low. So that was why I could reduce my medicine within 3 weeks of being on your programs. And I'm
Oh,
not one of those that's like, oh, this, you'll do this. Like, it's for real. It's science-based. It's research-based. Like this, I did my research on my own monitor that's in my arm continuously, and my numbers have decreased, and I have not had that. So that this is huge. So we set new goals this week, and I'll pause there, but that's like huge. It's huge.
no, that is something like to seriously get up, shake our booties, and absolutely celebrate. And the biggest, most enthusiastic way to hear that you are coming off, reducing your meds, coming off of your meds, and allowing your body to really be the capable, healthy, vibrant, amazing body that it is just, it's so worth celebrating. And I can imagine that for 5 years, having been diagnosed with diabetes for 5 years, and as you said, trying really hard to reverse that, especially with your background of a nurse and knowing what, diabetes, the kind of the longer term outcome of that is, for your body and for your life. And no matter what you did to reverse it, you kept, your meds kept increasing, and it just kind of felt like a downward slope.
Mhm.
And then so the kind of the perspective of the relationship with the body in that space, and then to actually, have a perspective now where you can celebrate the possibility and capability of your body is something that can you tell me, you did mention that your confidence in the gym has increased. How is this new perspective though, with just your, the capability and possibility of your body? Is that in any way influencing other areas of your life?
Oh yeah. I mean, for one, I think the medical conditions that I have are becoming well controlled and even improving. And so my baseline was I had a lot of fatigue that I would just fight through because I'm a 45-year-old. I have a career. I do what I need to do, but feeling exhausted. And now my energy level is so good. Like it's I'm like, I have list of things I want to do and I'm like getting them done. So it's like nice to feel energy again. So that's a huge change. I think I have more joy because it was really sort of stinky to like just be focusing on feeling bad, because when you have diabetes that's out of control, it feels awful. It's not just about taking a medicine. It really zaps you. You feel sick. Literally, you're sick. And so for my blood sugar to be under control, I feel fantastic. So like that's a huge difference. And like tomorrow I meet with my doctor and I'm so excited to say I feel well, because they haven't heard that from me. I've been like, I'm concerned. I still don't feel well. But now I can tell them I feel well. That just brings tears to my own eyes because that's what I've been fighting for. So I'm super excited. Other things I think where it comes out is just, I think when you feel better, it comes out in your relationships, how you treat people, like how you feel about yourself. I hated the part of taking pictures of myself, but see the beauty in it that you have, you want us to see the changes that may not happen on the scale, because there are so many changes that happen within your body. Like when you're lifting weights, when you're exercising, you can start to see some sculpture happening that might not show up on the scale. And so I've been fortunate to see change on the scale, which has been a huge goal of mine. But I also see the chiseling that's happening of the old Aimee is still there, but a younger version of Aimee, like way back, so it's sort of nice to see that again. So I feel like it does, there's definitely the connection between body and mind. And cognitively, I work on things that, there's research data, there's papers, things like that. And I feel like my focus is better. I'm not mentally fatigued. I feel satisfied, like the food program that we have. I was always someone that felt a little hungry. I never felt like I was full or satisfied. And so the combination of the foods you put together, like I even had times where I'm like, I don't even feel like I need to eat this right now. That's so weird. That's so un-Amy, because Amy was like a foodie. She's like, give me more, like, so it's weird. I've heard other people say that. I thought I will never connect with that person because they don't know how hungry I am inside. But I am that person now that I feel satisfied. And so there's a lot of aspects of my life that have changed for sure. Yeah.
Amy, I'm just so overjoyed for you.
Yeah.
Really, the results are all yours because of the way you have showed up so fully from day one. And I mean, it's one thing for me to present a plan in a program to women, but it is a completely different thing to show up in the light and in the enthusiasm and the openness that you have, and to really go for it. And I just want to acknowledge you. I want to celebrate you. Thank you for sharing your story to help others see what is possible. Maybe just before we conclude, do you want to share what your new goals that you set for the remainder, then we're not even halfway, but we'll say for the last half of the program, what your new set of goals are?
Yeah. Well, we have sessions with you, and one, I think the motivation that you receive off of Samantha, if anyone's watching this, it's like, it really inspires you to dig a little deeper, to want things for yourself. Because sometimes we put other people's needs first. And so these goals that we wrote in present tense. And so it was really fun to do that, of envisioning yourself, in the future and looking back at this moment and like claiming what you want and working towards it. And so for me, I feel like I have a lot of weight loss in front of me that I want to accomplish. And so I'm thinking big. And so I'm like, I want to try to knock off another 13 pounds before the end of this, which is huge, but still healthy, within that 1 to 2 pounds per week if it happens. I know I'll see changes no matter what with the program. So also looking at those pictures of myself. I had goals to keep promises to myself, to maintain this plan, not break a promise to myself. Because I think I wrote, like, it's easy for me to keep my promises with other people, but sometimes we break it with ourselves. We put other people's needs first. And so really holding on to those promises that I've made. Another goal is to increase my flexibility, and we have awesome opportunities through your website of classes. So I just see myself also adding a little bit more of like the yoga and things that you offer us. So I just feel like I'm really going to become, I feel like I'm going to have it all, like the strength, the flexibility, the nutrition, all the components of what I could give my body the best of. I'm going to be giving it to it. So I'm really excited to hold on to those goals, and see them happen. So yeah, that's where I'm at.
Yes, honey. Well, it's my joy to support you in those goals, to witness your transformation, and to just, continue to cheer on your enthusiasm every step of the way. So again, I just want to say thank you so much for following your yes here, for trusting in me, for bringing the wholeness of yourself to this space. And it I look forward to continue celebrating with you.
If there's one thing, and I just as a nurse, I think right now culture, you'll see I don't want to be the gatekeeper, keeping this information to myself. And I feel that way about Samantha, is that I feel totally inspired. I feel totally educated. It's important for me. I would not put my trust in any trainer. But when I met her and I saw how she taught, she knows her stuff. She's a living example of it. I would trust myself with her. And so I think about so many women, men, whoever, if you want to make a change in your health, Samantha is the right person to trust. And I can't say how thankful I was that first week of having a plan that I knew what to buy at the grocery store exactly. If I didn't know how to fix it, she had a video that showed me how to fix it. And it was so simple. I just had to show up and do what it said. And it's thank you. So I think that you provided a plan that would just make me successful. And I want that for other people, especially if they're struggling with some health issues or self-confidence or whatever it is. Like, reach out to Samantha. Don't wait another day. She's awesome. Thank you,
Thank you,
Samantha.
honey.
You're
Yeah.
changing my life. You're transforming my life. And I think you're giving me more longevity in my life because of the changes we're making right now. So thank you.
My absolute pleasure. And truly, from the fullness of my heart, honey, if there is, I am always here for you. I'm always here for you. And thank you so much for being you. And I just want to consistently encourage you to keep dreaming big, honey, because what is possible within you is limitless, and you've tapped into that, and you are now embodying that, and you are breathing life into that. And yes, 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 yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Mwah.
Thank you.
Mm.